Almost a few hours since we got the first installment of sim updates for this year. Hopefully, you've got yourselves with the latest patch installed on your machines. By the way, hit that subscribe button. We cover a number of things on the sim, helping up your experience at the sim. I gotta be honest with you, it's been a while since I had a crash to desktop. Firstly, now as soon as I got the latest patch, all excited, trying to get the latest update on the content manager, I experienced a crash to desktop. Not a good feeling, but it doesn't really happen frequently at all to me. Let's hope we have a good update overall. One of the most substantial improvements we should see would be on the aircraft and of course avionics. But before that, what else should we see? The much spoken WASM support for Xbox. Now what really is WASM support? WebAssembly module. And let's not get technical on this. This actually begins to support more features on the marketplace contents of the sim. That means better functioning of the aircraft systems, instruments such as controls, panels, displays to function as desired. Now all this time, this wouldn't really function the right manner, taking away the realism aspect of flight simming. With WASM support, this automatically opens doors to more opportunities. But that's another discussion. We are here today to see how Sim Update 12 fared. Avionics. Aircraft updates were a major part, and initially, I thought DC3 took a lion's share of changes. Nope, I was wrong. Now generally speaking in terms of avionics, the Garmin series have seen some changes as well for both 3000 and 5000 series. Now the 3000 is more leaning towards light turbine aircraft. Fixed various instances where FMS would not automatically tune in to primary approach frequency when loading or activating ILS, LOC, VOR approaches, plus plenty more fixes. Now on the general aircraft level, the FLO mode transition now takes into account the density altitude. PFTs have needed changes as there were bugs on WASM and TS glass cockpits. Now on the level of aircraft, pretty much more than half a dozen aircraft have seen fixes and a number of them. Now the Airbus A310, a popular one, has a bunch of updates. It's quite substantial with the list. First off, significant sound improvements on all areas. That's a big change. Lighting, pressure systems, resolutions in and around the aircraft, textures basically, landing weight calculations, issues fixed on aircraft freeze during mid-flight, TD logic, and a lot more. Now that's a big change for Airbus A310. Now on helicopters, we discussed on Bell 407 with the inclusion of engine power jump corrections, adding engine primers, reworking on the throttle control logic for multi-engine helicopters, which has now become consistent. Now in addition to this, tail rotor increment fixes and plenty more. The 40th anniversary Cabri G2 came along with fixes as well. There have been improvements on start mode behaviors, particularly on the EPM, meaning electronic pilot monitor. Now in terms of functionality, it's always better to have things synchronized so as to feel part of the sim. Animations between the engine RPM and rotor RPM should now reflect the way it's supposed to be. Magnetic bearing replacement instead of true bearing, throttle animations, micro drifts on ground contact, ground stability and more. It appears that helicopters are slowly coming into place and hopefully we see even more exciting ones. Now leaving all this, the default lot of aircraft deserved attention as well. The 172 came with some fixes, particularly on ground steering during takeoffs, trying to help compensate for crosswinds. The Cessna Citation CJ4 saw more than 24 fixes on several areas including electrical systems, approaches, radio receiver, various alerts, ILS data and bugs, mostly related to visual approach. On the Citation Longitude, there were some logic improvements on period heat, engine auto start and auto shutdown procedures, instruments, auto throttle, external animations. Likewise with the TBM 930, one of the popular aircraft since the beginning. Now some fixes were visual that improved the lighting aspect. Most of the fixes were based on compatibilities on hardware, animations, landing gear, sounds and more. We spoke about aircraft, let's not get into more detail as there's so much more. World updates. Another interesting portion of the update. To my surprise, this section has been revisited to fix any remaining issues that have persisted since months. Now there are 11 world updates, each of them covering a region with plenty of points of interest. We're not getting into details. On a high level, Over all these 11 updates, we saw few common areas addressed. We aren't going to get into detail as it could take forever. Firstly, night textures, level of detail, added collisions, satellite imagery, texturing overall, terraforming clipping, terrain and image blending. These are the things that have been fixed on a high level, and there are hundreds of points of interest spread across 11 world updates. That's a lot of work. Let's talk airports here. As usual, we get few airports during world updates, plus some updates to existing ones. Around 6 of them have been addressed during this patch, and some of the common denominators would be runway markings, collisions added to buildings, level of detail transitions, heliports. Now with the introduction of helicopter simulation, this area is getting more serious. Not to forget glider airports as well. In addition to this, texturing and photogrammetry areas that consist in and around the airports. On the line of peripherals, we have new supported devices, which would be the MPS-015U flight stick from Hori, plus new presets that have been added to the Xbox Series and PC modes. Now presets have been added to other peripherals as well, including the TCS Sight Stick, T-Flight HOTAS 1, Cytec Pro Flight, Cytec X52 and T-Flight Stick X for helicopters. There have been new controls as well, including recognition lights, in-flight UI panel, making it easy for the user, and adding toggle wind fold to the available mapping list, and plenty more. Now for some reason, the market plays grayed out on me while doing a purchase. That doesn't really happen all the time, but something to notice. What am I most excited about? Aircraft editors. This helps devs make some incredible changes, and what does it really mean to us? We don't use this feature, but this can help improve our experiences as simmers moving forward. Now the inclusion of glass cockpits can make it worthwhile as well. Helicopters have seen changes. We saw world updates see some dramatic changes as well, especially correcting points of interest, level of detail, correcting airports and so much more. What's more important is the synchronization of aircraft systems. By the way, talking about aircraft, did you realize that Antonov AN225 is on sale? It's brought down to 35% off at $12.99 from $20. It's not a bad deal if you ask me. Now getting back to Sim Update 12. It's a given that Sim Update 12 went through a lot of changes, and the goal is to offer us a much better experience on performance. There have been mixed bag reviews so far at the community, and quite honestly, I'm surprised. Now hopefully for a large percentage, we see a fruitful outcome. I'm certain with a few issues here and there, it isn't easy for a small team to come up with a huge release this way, and that's one of the reasons the team rely on the community for feedback, plus their support. Overall, I'm quite pleased with the update this kind if you ask me. I truly hope you have had a good experience as well. If there are issues, I'm certain the team would notice it and give us a fix. But so far, I believe it's been great, and big thanks to the team for getting us quite an update. It's been a true pleasure with you all today. Do subscribe as we plan to bring you more towards a sim. Until next time, do take care and happy flying.